dead of the night, when the cold winds blow, there's a truth in the dark where the secrets go. Every whisper, every crime, unraveled one clue at a time. What's hiding in the past? What's lurking down below? Only the shadows know.
In the autumn of 1888, a shadow fell over the grim, gaslit streets of London's East End. A killer, whose name would echo through history, began a reign of terror that has fascinated and horrified people for over a century. This is the story of Jack the Ripper. Our story begins in Whitechapel, a district notorious for its poverty, overcrowding, and crime. The cobbled alleyways were poorly lit, shrouded in a constant London fog mixed with coal smoke, creating a perfect hunting ground for a predator. Life was incredibly harsh, especially for the women who walked the streets, many of whom were forced into prostitution just to survive day to day. It was this vulnerable population that the killer would target with terrifying precision. The terror began on August 31st, 1888. In the early morning hours, the body of Marianne Nichols, known as Polly, was discovered in Bucks Row. She was the first of what would become known as the canonical 5 victims. Her throat had been cut twice, and she had suffered horrific abdominal injuries. The brutality of the crime shocked even the hardened residents and police of Whitechapel, but this was only the beginning. Just over a week later, on September 8th, the body of Annie Chapman was found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. The killer's methods had escalated. Like Polly Nichols, her throat was slashed, but the mutilations to her body were far more severe. The killer had surgically removed her uterus. This grim detail suggested that the murderer might have some anatomical knowledge, a clue that would both guide and misdirect the investigation for years to come. Panic began to grip the city. The newspapers, hungry for a story, sensationalized the murders, giving the killer a terrifying, almost mythical status. The police were under immense pressure. The investigation was led by detectives from Scotland Yard, but they were struggling. Forensic science, as we know it today, didn't exist. They had no fingerprinting, no DNA analysis. Their methods were based on witness interviews, beat patrols, and basic detective work, all of which were proving ineffective against a killer who left almost no clues and vanished into the night. Then came the night of the double event. On September 30th, the killer struck twice. First, Elizabeth Stride was found in Dutfield's yard. Her throat was cut, but her body was otherwise untouched. It's widely believed the killer was interrupted during the act, but he wasn't finished. Less than an hour later, and only a short walk away, the body of Catherine Eddowes was discovered in Mitre Square. The savagery inflicted upon her was unprecedented. Her face was severely mutilated, and her kidney and uterus had been removed. The killer had even taken a piece of her apron. It was after this double murder that the name Jack the Ripper was born. A letter claiming to be from the killer was sent to the Central News Agency. It was written in red ink and taunted the police. It was signed Jack the Ripper. While many believe this letter, and others that followed, were hoaxes created by journalists to sell papers, the name stuck. It perfectly captured the public's image of a phantom-like butcher stalking the night. Another piece of evidence from that night was a message scrawled in chalk on a wall near where the piece of Catherine Eddowes' apron was found. It read, "The Jewers are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." The Metropolitan Police Commissioner, fearing it would spark anti-Semitic riots, ordered it to be erased before it could be photographed, destroying a potentially vital clue. The final and most gruesome murder occurred on November 9th, 1888. Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest of the victims, was killed indoors in her small room at 13 Miller's Court. Because the killer had privacy and time, the scene that greeted the police was beyond horrifying. Kelly's body had been mutilated, almost beyond recognition. Her organs were placed around the room, and her heart was missing. It was a brutal, shocking end to the killing spree. After the murder of Mary Kelly, the Ripper murders abruptly stopped. The terror that had held London in its grip for 3 months was over. But the mystery was just beginning. So, who was Jack the Ripper? The truth is, we still don't know for sure. But there have been over 100 suspects proposed over the years, ranging from the plausible to the utterly bizarre. Let's look at some of the most prominent ones. One of the earliest and most compelling suspects was Montague John Druitt, a barrister and schoolteacher who was found drowned in the River Thames in December 1888, shortly after the final murder. His own family suspected him, and the timing of his death is certainly convenient. However, there's no direct evidence linking him to Whitechapel or the crimes themselves. Another popular suspect is Aaron Kosminski, a Polish-Jewish hairdresser who lived in Whitechapel and worked in the area. He suffered from severe mental illness and had a documented hatred of women. He was committed to an asylum in 1891 and died there years later. A senior police official from the time named him as his preferred suspect in a private memorandum. More recently, a book claimed to have DNA evidence from a shawl supposedly found near Catherine Edo's body, linking Kosminski to the crime. However, the validity of this DNA evidence has been heavily disputed by many experts. Then there's Serene Kolosowski, better known by his alias, George Chapman. He was a Polish immigrant who was convicted and executed in 1903 for poisoning 3 of his wives. Inspector Frederick Aberline, one of the lead investigators on the Ripper case, purportedly said, "You've got Jack the Ripper at last." After Chapman's conviction, he had some medical training, lived in Whitechapel during the murders, and was known to be a violent misogynist. The main argument against him is his method of killing. Poison is a very different modus operandi from the brutal knife work of the Ripper. Other suspects have included doctors and surgeons, like Sir William Gull, the Queen's own physician, who was implicated as part of a complex Masonic conspiracy theory involving the royal family. Another theory points to the artist Walter Sickert, who painted dark, moody scenes of London life and was said to be obsessed with the murders. Some even suggested a woman, a Jill the Ripper, perhaps a midwife, who would have had anatomical knowledge and could walk the streets covered in blood without arousing too much suspicion. Despite decades of investigation by police, historians, and amateur sleuths known as Ripperologists, no suspect has ever been definitively proven to be the killer. The files remain open. The lack of forensic technology at the time meant that any concrete evidence was either lost, destroyed, or never collected in the first place. The killer's identity is likely lost to time, but the legacy of Jack the Ripper endures. The case was a turning point in how society viewed crime and poverty. The intense media coverage brought the horrific living conditions of Whitechapel to the attention of the wider public, leading to social reforms. It also highlighted the need for more advanced police investigation techniques. The mystery of Jack the Ripper is more than just a simple whodunit. It's a dark glimpse into the Victorian era, a story of a city gripped by fear. and a chilling reminder of one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in the history of crime. The question of who he was continues to haunt us, ensuring that the shadow of the Ripper will likely never fade away. Thank you so much for watching. If you're fascinated by historical mysteries like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. What are your theories on who Jack the Ripper was? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.
In the quiet of the night, when the cold winds blow, there's a truth in the dark where the secrets go. Every whisper, every crime, unraveled one clue at a time. What's hiding
In the quiet of the night when the cold winds blow, there's a truth in the dark where the secrets go.
every whisper, every crime, unraveled one clue at a time. What's hiding in the past? What's lurking down below?
Only the shadows know.
In the quiet of the night, when the cold winds blow, there's a truth in the dark where the secrets go. Every whisper, every crime, unraveled one clue at a time.
What's hiding in the past? What's lurking down below?
Only the shadows